everybody back. I've had a pretty adventuresome week this week. I was invited back earlier in the year to do a demonstration in Covington, Georgia for the Peachstate Woodturner chapter of the AAW, the American Association of Woodturners. And they asked me if I would like to come and do a demonstration. And I told them, yes, I would. I've never done one before. But anyway, the time came. And I was very nervous. But I got down there. And those guys, man, you guys are all great. Any of y'all that are watching, I really enjoyed myself down there. It was a great time. I hope you guys enjoyed the demonstration. I had really good feedback. Top-notch turners in that club. Very nice equipment in the shop down there, Don. I appreciate you letting me use that beautiful lathe that you've got. It's a really fine machine. But anyway, what I was demonstrating was taking just old, rotten, spalted wood that is good for really nothing else, because this wood is even beyond what I turned previously when I did a video on dealing with spalted wood. This wood's even further gone than that. But what I've done, and my demonstration started with that piece of wood, and it ended with this finish right here, and hopefully you can see that. But anyway, and I just did my demonstration on how I do that, and they were very receptive. They everybody seemed to enjoy the demonstration, and I hope they did. But anyway, that's what I did it on, and we didn't actually video. So what I'm doing now is I'm doing a YouTube video basically on what I did at the demonstration for their chapter. So that's what I'm going to do now. But first of all, I want to talk to you guys in the UK and Europe over there. Three of my good buddies, Mike Walt, Martin Saban Smith, and Temple Boy Turnings, they all have YouTube channels, and I'll leave links to their channels below if you don't already have them, and you can check out their channel. Mike has always been a big inspiration for me, and I love to watch him turn. But anyway, they're putting together the UK and Ireland's very first Woodturning Symposium. And they would really like to enjoy your support there, and it's going to be a big deal. That they've got good plans going to get this thing done, good venues, and I'll leave a link to their Facebook and their website so you can go find out more, and hopefully you can visit them at that symposium. Right now they're trying to find demonstrators and all of that, so. But it's going to be a really good thing. So if you're over there and you can make it to their symposium, give it a shot. I know those guys they all have good attention to detail. So it'll be a really good show. And with that, we're going to kickstart this spalted wood right here. Of course, if I kicked it, it would fall all to pieces. But I mean, it is some nasty stuff. Look at that. It's just nasty. This wood falling all off of it. But we're going to get started. Let's do this. Okay, well, you can see what I cut out of it. I've got a 2x2 here. It's, you know, about 7-8 inches long. And I've got a bunch of little pin blanks here. I just want to show you this wood. Watch. That's just, I mean, it's just, that's how this wood is. Just like that. Now, I'm going to show you how to get this out of it. Just like that. Alright. First I've got to dry it. I'm going to take it out and put it in my little toaster oven for about an hour and get the moisture out of this stuff. It's been outside. It's a little moist. So, but I'll be back once I get this stuff dry. I'm just going to put it in the toaster oven at about 150 degrees for an hour or so. It'll be dry as a bone. Okay. Well, I'm actually about 220. I've got a couple of blanks in here. Let me back this up. Got a couple of blanks in here that are already being cured up. You can see them, they're wrapped in the aluminum foil. I'll show you that a little bit later. But my blanks are nice and dry. They're all nice and dry now. So I'm ready to use them. Alright, I'm going to leave those in there because they need to continue on curing a little bit. And we'll get in there and get started. Okay, well, this is the resins that I'm going to be using. It's the Cactus Juice stabilizing resin from Turntex. Turntex.com. Let's see if it's on here. It's right here. Visit turntex.com. And I'll leave a link in the description for that, where you can get this. And also, I buy the Alumilite dyes from him also. Here I've got yellow, blue, and red. And from that, I can get green, orange. There's several different colors you can get just by mixing them. But you can just take your blanks, if I can find them. Okay, here they are. They just came out of here. You can take your blanks and you can cast them clear, just like this. And I've done several that way, and they really look pretty cool because this doesn't really change the color of the wood. So you still get the look of the spalted wood without dyes. But then you can add dyes, and this is like the red dyes that I use right here. If you mix in the red with it when it penetrates, and that's all the way through. It's all the way through to the center. But anyway, I mix, when I use the dyes, I generally use about 4 or 5 drops per ounce of this stuff. And you end up, I mix them up into these little jars. Okay, so there's about a pint in here. I think that's a pint. But anyway, and it really has to be mixed very dark. This color here is actually ended up this color. Now these blanks that I've got here are a little further gone than those blanks, so it may get a little bit darker, but it's actually surprising how dark the dye has to be in order to get, you know, the color that you want, and it may take some experimentation to get it. But anyway, what I do, let me turn my camera here, is I use these little bread pans like this right here, and let me put that on a paper towel or something in case a little bit wants to drip. Okay, and I put these little HDPE spacers in here just to keep my blanks up off the ground, or up off, so I know that the fluid's trying to come in from the bottom as well as the sides and the top and everything. And I'll just take 2 blanks, And let me see. I'm not going to use that one. I like the way this one looks. Now this blank is all but falling apart. I mean, it is just about to fall apart. And well, all of them are actually. So, but I'll put them in there just like that. And that right there is about to break off. But once this is stabilized, that will be hard, just a very hard part of the blank, just like that. Okay, I'll put them in there and kind of space them apart just a little bit. And then I'm going to pour my dye in. Get the lid off, try not to make a big mess. Not a bad idea to wear gloves doing this too, because that stuff will get on you. Alright, so we're just going to pour it. See if I can. Okay, once I get it deep enough, I get a paper towel here, wipe off that jar, because that stuff will be everywhere if I don't. And I have a little weight that my buddy Rick Beach made me, and I'll just set that on there. Just like that. You want them to be completely submerged. And let me get just a little bit more dye in there. Because as this dye goes in, it's going to soak that. You want to keep those things submerged completely until the dye gets all the way in there. Alright, so and now I'm going to try to get it into my vacuum chamber that I built. Okay, which is right here. You may have saw it in my last video. It does have a very small leak, so I have to start my vacuum a few times over and over. But I'm going to try to set this in there, hopefully without spilling all of it everywhere. And I'll just set it in there just like that. See if I can get you a little height advantage so you can see what happens. But anyway, what we're going to do is move this over so you can see a little better. I'm going to pull vacuum on it now, and you'll see the bubbles start coming up. I want to keep it under vacuum until the bubbles stop. Okay? I keep it under vacuum until the bubbles stop. Now my weight right there has got a steel mesh under the bottom so that the air bubbles don't stay up against. You can see here. You can see right here the steel mesh. So now the air bubbles can still go up and get away. Okay, so anyway, we're going to weight it down. Put the lid on. Now I'm going to turn on my vacuum. You'll start to see the bubbles. I can already see it. It looks like foam. I'm down to 21 inches now, and it's coming on down. And once I get to 22 or 23, I'll shut it off and just allow it to sit. Okay, I'm at 23 now. I'll turn off my shut-off valve. Turn off my vacuum pump, and I'll just have to wait, and I'll keep it under about 23 inches until no more bubbles come up. And once no more bubbles come up, then I'll take the vacuum off and allow it to sit for twice as long as it took the bubbles to stop coming up. Okay, I had to go back and add more resin because it soaked up a whole lot of that in my pieces. I had to go back and add more resin because I guess that wood is so far gone that it's it just almost the same square inches in the wood, which it soaked up about that amount of resin right there. So I had to go back and add more because they weren't submerged anymore after they had already soaked some in. So now I had to start over, and you see I'm still getting bubbles. Okay, I think that's about it. Well, it's been under vacuum now for about 10 minutes, so I'm going to wait another 20 with it off of vacuum. Let me undo it here. Alright, so now I'm just going to let that sit in that for about 20 minutes because it took 10 minutes for the bubbles to stop. And in about 20 minutes, we'll come back and we'll get this ready to go in the heater. Alright, well, it's been off of vacuum for about 20 minutes now, so let's see how it's doing. Okay, dump that out. Yeah, you see they're not trying to float anymore. So that means that they've got that resin in them now. Alright. Okay, I pulled the thing out of my vacuum chamber. So now what they recommend is we just take these blanks and basically you're going to individually wrap them. I'm going to put it on this aluminum foil here. And I'm just going to roll this up and try not to get any of this dye on my plywood there. Alright, and then the next one. And all the aluminum foil is really doing is keeping them separated. So anyway, I'm just going to roll them up like that in the aluminum foil and close up the ends. Like so. And then I'm going to go put them back in my little toaster oven out there in my kiln and get these things catalyzed or hardened. I don't know why I said catalyzed, but I meant hardened. And what that'll be is it'll be 200 degrees for about 2 hours. That makes sure that it gets hot all the way through. The heat is what actually cures these things up. It activates the catalyst that has already been mixed in there. Alright, well, I've got my stuff, and I'm going to bring it out here to my kiln, which I built it from an old smoker, and I'm just going to put these in here. See, I'm dead at 200 degrees now. Maybe you can see that. I think I'm right at 200 degrees now, so I'm good to go. I'll just open this up and I'll add those to the ones that are already in there, and I'll be back in just a couple of hours. And 200 degrees is 100 degrees hotter than your skin temperature, so it is pretty warm. I'll leave this in here just so I can keep a check on it. Well, I guess you didn't even see that. I had the camera wasn't pointed right. But anyway, this will get back up to 200 degrees, and my blanks, which are right there, in 2 hours will be hard as a rock. Alright, I'll be back in a couple hours. Okay, another good thing with this cactus juice is you can pour it right back. What's left, you can pour it right back in there and use it again later. So I've taken what what I had left in my pan, and I poured it right back into the jar. I can use it again later. All right. Well, we got this out of the toaster oven. And one thing I forgot to do with these, with the red, was I forgot to wipe it off when I took them out of the resin. So I've had some leak around. It just, but that's okay, because actually I can use that stuff too. All these little flakes, I'll save them. Yes, I will, because I can take this stuff and cast it in resin and really get some cool looking pen blanks. But anyway, let's see how this is going to work out for me. Let me put all that stuff over there. Oh, well, I ain't going to mess with that too much. I've got a bunch of that stuff anyway. But you can see how I didn't wipe these off, and that's kind of my fault there. But they do break apart. Now I can run these through my table saw now and clean all this stuff off. Down to, like this. But I'm not going to. I'm gonna trim the edges just a little bit on the bandsaw, and then I'm gonna turn it on the lathe. I'm just gonna put it between centers and show you what you could get like a pen blank or something like that out of. But anyway, let's see here. These were green ones here, and I actually wiped them off, so it's a lot cleaner than my others. I wiped them off when I took them out of the resin, so they're a lot cleaner looking. These here are the ones I stabilized, or these are the ones that I put in the resin during my demo down there. So if somebody from Peachstate Woodturners Club, these are the ones that I did down there in the demo. Alright, well, let's get to, I'm just going to go over to the bandsaw. I'm going to whack these ends off, and I'm going to put it between centers, and I'm going to show you how you can get a glass finish off of those.